I feel as if I'm waiting for my life to be over. And I know that I don't portray that. A lot of people see me out in public and think, oh, she's pretty, you know, confident and capable and stuff, but it's like the duck's feet under the water. When I'm by myself, you know, I feel as if I've lost my motivation and everything's just too hard and I'm so tired.
What makes me happy is being with family and friends and being back home.
Waking up to this gorgeous lady every morning.
Chocolate, yeah.
Companionship, doing stuff with people.
Waking up on my own time, like with no alarm clock.
Respect myself and feed my soul.
A very good close friend of mine, Denise, and I were talking on Facebook, and she said, oh, would you like to do this thing? It's called the Happiness Project.
Denise suddenly invited me to join in what she referred to as the Happiness Project. And I had no idea what that was about.
Oh, what is it? She said, oh, you take photos for 100 days and you make a book at the end of it. I'm going to do it. Would you like to do it with me? And I said, yeah, sure, it sounds great.
It sounded very interesting when she described it to me. I loved the simplicity of it.
You took 100 photos, one photo a day for 100 days of something that made you happy.
She lies awake most of the night.
I've got complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and that, along with that goes depression, and you can appear slightly manic at times. Yeah. I was abused as a child. My first child, my daughter, died very, very suddenly, and that was I was just told by a phone call and all this sort of stuff, so that was a really big shock that you don't really recover from as well, so that's part of it as well.
I've had a long history of mental illness, like right throughout my whole life, and I'd done a lot of treatment and a lot of, you know, stuff to try and, you know, help me get rid of depression, because I have bipolar and had personality disorder and stuff like that. And so, but even with doing all that treatment, for some reason I still wasn't very happy, and about 10 years ago I felt very suicidal, and it was like I just thought I just don't even want to live.
I have a diagnosis of schizophrenia with paranoid tendencies plus borderline personality and post-stress disorder. Because I'm a I was sexually abused as a child, so that's given me PTSD. And the borderline personality and the schizophrenia is hereditary in my family. It comes through my great-grandmother's side of the family.
Denise and I, we had for a period of time been talking about joyfulness, because she hadn't actually had a lot of joyfulness in her life. So I asked her, or invited her, would you be interested in you and I having a conversation about joyfulness? And that was again inspired by narrative therapy, where we got a concept we refer to as the absent but implicit, that if a person has got a complete absence of something in their life, they may nevertheless still have a knowledge about whatever is missing, but they may not be quite sure about what it actually looks like or what it sounds like.
When I was first became sick, I didn't even have words to describe how I felt.
Yeah.
So happiness and joy is like you know, that's, yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
When other people are happy, I can see the happiness.
Yeah.
But what is it for me? That's quite hard. That's not an easy question for me to answer.
I decided not to kill myself, and I thought, but if I'm going to live, I need to live more. Life needs to be with less effort and more fun. And I realised that I didn't even really know what that meant. And it was like, I don't even know what I really enjoy. So I've spent like the last 10 years sort of thinking about what actually brings me joy and what actually brings me fun.
I had an x-ray done and they found some nodules in the lungs. There is no treatment as such. I can have chemotherapy that will keep it slow it down, but it won't cure the process. So eventually I'm looking at passing away from this illness.
How has your mental health issues affected your cancer diagnosis today? Like, does it interfere with everything that's going on?
My mental health has caused me problems with because I've had a year and a half of pain and going up and back and forth to A&E with pain. I've got a reputation in A&E as being a hypochondriac, and that the pain's all in my head and that I just need to get over myself and stop wasting their time. My reputation in A&E is not very good. To be honest with you, Ellie, I feel more angry at the fact that how society is all, oh, we've got to be like this about mental health, oh, we've got to be this, mental health, and in real life it's not like that. In real life, people still treat us like we've got some horrible thing, or, you know, or that it's the whole of us, when really our illness is only a part of us. I did try to self-harm when I first found out. I did try. And before I went into hospice, I had a little hiccup. And it was the main reason why I went into hospice was I didn't want to be here, you know. I said, if I have this terminal illness, I might as die now. It gets to the point where I just don't want to be here. And I look for any way and anything to end my life with.
Depression in my head I can cope with because I know what to do. But I feel as if I'm like depressed in my body. It's just like a really horrible feeling that I don't like. And I'm hanging a lot of hope on this happiness project. I want to be as engaged as I possibly can because I'm hoping it will help lift me out of this bad patch that I'm in.
My goal is to be able to be here the whole 100 days, to be able to finish and see it through. I'd love to be involved in putting the exhibition together for the photos for Mental Health Week. I reckon that'd be just so empowering.
We've got these exciting new cameras, and hopefully everybody at the end of this session today will know how to use their cameras or their cell phones so that everybody will be able to go home and take lots of brilliant photos. If we do it in the dark, you stand in front of it. Yeah. Oh, the group that meets, and we've been doing it for a couple of times now, where we're talking about, so everybody gets a chance to show a photo that they've taken during the previous 2 weeks. They choose one of the ones they like, and they can talk to the group about what made them happy, why did they take the photo, and then the group sort of discusses it.
And not only that too, on Wednesday or Friday nights, they have raffles, meat raffles. Now I'm happy to say, and I'm very happy, that I win a lot of meat raffles. And I actually stock up my little fridge freezer, and that lasts me for months and months. And that's, you know, less cost for me. It makes me very happy. happy, joy, happy.
I've become aware of the things that make me happy, whereas before they would just go by and all these things would happen and I wouldn't notice them. So, but I always notice the negative things and the bad things because life is like a mixture of positive and negative things and you can't get rid of that, you know, like you can't get rid of the difficulties you have in life. But since I've been doing this project, I just know that I've started to become more aware of the positive things, and I can't believe how much is out there that makes me feel happy that I just would completely have gone over my head before. I just wouldn't have even noticed it. You know, happiness has actually become a product now and a commercialisation, and so you see happiness stuff everywhere, and you know, you can buy books about happiness and you can, you know, it's become the big,
yes, you've got some money.
the happiness psychology, and there's a good thing about that and there's a bad thing. The good thing is that there is a good thing about our quality of life and how we experience things. The bad things is that it can become meaningless. A lot of the stuff that's written, if it's just written for the sake of selling books and stuff, and you can't apply it in your life, and it can be really complex and stuff. But me and Shelley have been talking a lot about like the fact that it's often the little things and the simple things that make you happy, and that it doesn't take a lot and it doesn't take big chunks every day, because if they're really complex and hard, people are not going to do them.
H-A-P-P-Y, I know I am, sure I am. I'm H-A-P-P-Y.
There's a consensus about what gives us happy feelings, but I still think that what is happiness to one person probably is very unique. So for anybody to teach happiness, I mean, I would feel totally incompetent in terms of teaching anybody happiness, which is one of the things I really like about the narrative therapy. With a lot of the conventional psychotherapies, there are certain theories that if we can get the client or the patient to do this and that and that and that and that, then at some stage they will arrive at a place that's going to be really good for them. But how, I think it would be very arrogant or presumptuous of me to have an idea about what would be really good for somebody. I did not grow up with extensive physical and sexual abuse. I was privileged growing up in a stable nuclear family. I did not have to worry about where to get food and schooling as a child. How can I have a notion about what should be happiness for people who have had a completely different life?
I'm a trained primary school teacher.
Okay.
So I actually did 5 years in primary school, and then I had a bunch of babies. I joined the Navy when I was 42 as principal clarinet player in the Royal New Zealand Navy Band. I'd actually taken one of my students down for an audition, and at the end of the day they said, well, she hasn't passed, but you have. And I said, I wasn't trying to join the Navy.
Yeah.
And it was actually in the last year of the Navy that I lost the plot.
Okay.
And that's when looking back on it, that's when I see the unwellness, the mental issues sort of coming to the fore. But I can't actually say that the Navy caused it. Yeah. But I can say that they were the catalyst.
Okay.
It was probably always there under the surface. But until then, I was walking around on this earth thinking I was normal. Yeah. Whatever normal is.
Yes.
Normal.
Yeah.
Slightly eccentric, but normal.
It's only 28 inches.
Oh, I can't wait for a cuddle. Yeah. Jesus, you love her, eh?
I do. She's my most important thing.
Aww.
She's the love of my life, actually.
That is lovely. Yeah. Gives you that joy, eh?
Yeah, she does. She keeps me going.
Oh, that's really good, hun.
I don't know if we'll have time to do it today, but I was talking to your mum about a bob sort of cut.
Mm.
And because Mum still wants the length.
She does, yes.
She doesn't want me to get it cut too short because, as you can see, I've got quite a fat face.
You're gorgeous, darling.
And if it was me, I would have short hair. But
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to live with Mum.
Yeah, so it's Mum's rules.
So it's Mum's rules to a certain degree.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, so I'm thinking, I saw a picture and it's sort of like came down and sort of angled cut like
Yes,
that.
oh, I love those.
And the fringe sort of...
Yep, side fringe, sweeps over.
Yeah.
The shadow of myself, placed it down before me, and you made me look. I ventured alongside it and I danced around its christening. Something overtook me, wondered where we'd met before, and I glanced there.
I've chosen 2 pictures that have particular significance for me, and one of them has to be Granny, because like Granny is my all-time happy memory. She's the one person in my life that's been there my whole life, and it is almost all happy things that she's been involved in. When we were kids, she made me happy. She played games with us. She taught us all our card games. She's so funny. Living with her has just been like, you know, every day. You can't come home miserable when you're around her because she just does the funniest things. And she has, you know, some dementia and that now. And even with her dementia, she just cracks me up. So if you had advice to give to young kids about how to live happily, what would you tell them?
To shut up.
That's Granny's family. That's her brothers and sisters.
That's Jeffrey at the top, and there's Jack, he's dead. Ralph, he's dead. Jim, he's dead. Me, I'm not dead. And Lillian, she's not dead. Oh, yes, she is. Yeah.
One of the photographs you brought to group was of a washboard. How long have you been playing the washboard?
Oh gosh, I think I've been playing it for probably just 4 or 5 years. Yeah, something like that.
What made you choose the washboard?
Because it's a bit different. I like things to be simple. I think life essentially is simple. I think people have an ability to make it very complicated. And at a time where everybody needs a microphone or an electric guitar, everything has to be amplified. I really like the more folksy instruments like playing the washboard or playing the spoons or something basic, something unplugged.
When did you start painting?
Well, I always did art and music as full subjects at school, even though I was in an academic stream, and I've been a musician since I was 7. And I always said to myself, when I stopped being an active, performing musician, I'd become an artist. And when the whole mental health thing happened, it seemed like a good place to sort of change that direction. And art is such a is a way of expressing feelings that's safer, that's quite safe than some other ways of expressing your feelings. And it's something you can do by yourself, where music's more something I do in a group.
One of the most exciting things about pottery is when it comes out of the kiln. What is it going to look like? Because you just never know. It's such an adventure. You never know exactly how the glazes are going to turn out.
It's like Christmas every day.
Yeah, and if I was really good, I would like keep a diary of what glazes I've put on things, because afterwards you look at something and think, oh, I really like that. How did I do it? I forgot.
So bucket list number 2 we're on. So we're not actually getting a tattoo done today. We're just going to have a transfer put on. Why can't we get the tattoo done?
Because I'm on warfarin, which is a blood thinner, and they said that it would just thin the blood too much, and then it would just be wasted Jess's time, because it would just bleed everywhere, and then it would bruise and look really yuck, and it just would not look nice. So this is plan B.
Modified.
Yeah.
So we will literally just paint this on.
Just say it's true and I'll come back to you. Fill the space I didn't make. Just say it's true, I'll find a way. And you will need someone to blame. I seem to remind you of someone, somewhere, another place, another time.
I managed to get out onto the beach because I love going to the beach when after a storm, because especially if there's been nobody else out on the beach, because then I get the best finds. And I found this the other day on the beach and I loved it. The reason why I really liked it and it brought me so much pleasure at the time was that it's different. I like finding shells that I don't normally find.
Oh, this project's been amazing for me. It's my outlook, my general outlook every day has changed, and I'm looking more at the positive side of things. And every time I have an unhappy thought or a negative thought, I think I change it. I change it into a positive thought or a grateful thought. Like, for instance, I got really bummed out because I went out to see my car on Monday after not seeing it since Friday, and someone's pranged into the back of it, and it's going to cost me a bomb even though I'm insured. But then I thought, I can change that thought into a positive one. I'm thankful that I wasn't in the car and didn't get hurt. You know, so that's probably the biggest thing that it's done for me, is I'm changing my thoughts. I'm changing my thoughts from negative stuff into positive stuff.
Can I say something to you, Shelley? Yeah. Like, when I started this project, you were the person I was most worried about, in that your thinking was so negative because you'd had your friend die and like you were stuck on that, and like just seeing how it's changed and how it's affected you has just been phenomenal. Like, you're just an inspiration, really, you know, like it just blows me away, really. I didn't mean to make you cry.
It's all right. That's just who I am. Sometimes I cry really easily. That doesn't mean I'm unhappy.
That's not a bad thing.
It just means I've got a lot of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong with that.
Yeah, I felt as if I was in a very stuck place. But I feel as if all those years of therapy, it's like it didn't really click. I don't know whether it's just this or the power of the group or quite exactly what it is, but it feels as if a lot of things that were talked to me, that I talked about in therapy or were suggested to me in therapy, I'm starting to get, it's like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
didn't get it then, but I'm getting it now.
No way I could change that. Nothing that I...
What photographs were important to you during the project?
Well, I think all the photos I took were actually important because of the project I suddenly had a different way at looking at things. So they all became important. But the ones that really spoke to me was I realized that a lot of the photos were really about involving my grandchildren. That was one thing. And there was one that's particularly precious where I helped my oldest grandchild, my grandson Josh, balancing on a log out in the bush. I really enjoyed it very much.
My husband's sons and daughters and my grandkids too. My mama, papa, brothers, sisters, all their children too. I love my precious friends and all they give to me. I thank the Lord for all of you and those across the seas. There's so many people on our planet, so many ways to think and be. But I am blessed, I have to say it, to have you as my friends and family.
She's blessed, she has to say it, to have us as her friends and family.
I chose a picture of me in the bath because that was the time that I was not feeling so great and I wanted to do something really nice and relaxing, and my mother's got this wonderful deep bath, and so I got in there and had this nice hot bath, and I like the way the artistic, where she's doing all her renovations with my feet against the taps.
Well, it's quite cool looking at them. But you look at some of them and I sort of, I've got to think for a minute what it is.
Take a walk in my shoes today.
I've got another one here of, it's quite a dark photo, but it's taken in the bush just down behind my place where I go for a walk, and it's the sun shining through the trees. And I really feel very lucky that I live so close to the park and can go walking down there, and it's just amazing. And I live right there. It feels like it's my park, but I've got these groundskeepers who look after it.
I was born in Denmark. I was born in central Copenhagen. I met my wife here in New Zealand when I arrived in Tauranga to do what she was going to be a 2-year working holiday in New Zealand. This was in 1976. And Julie had just arrived from her grand OE, so we fell into each other's arms. Up until 4 years ago, we didn't have any grandchildren. We were not quite sure whether we were going to get any. And then suddenly, within a space of 4.5 years, we got 6. And that is very exciting.
3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yeah.
Yes, 3.5 years.
He might jump up. I think the mouse might jump up into the salami bowl.
Oh. Maybe you should turn your sandwich over.
There's the little mouse.
Maybe I should give you my plate.
Oh, that's probably a much smaller.
Look at the little mouse. It's all sweet and cute.
Can I pet him?
No. Yeah, you can pet him. Pet him. Oh.
I love just driving along, no worries, no cares. I blast my music and I love singing, but I haven't got a very good voice, so when I'm driving, I can just sing at the top of my voice when I'm on my own and nobody knows what it sounds like. And I love to move my mirror so that I can see Coco, because normally she sits at the back with her head out the window and her ears and her fluff is all blowing in the wind. And
carton of eggs that were laid by my chickens, and I write the dates on them, their birthdays, and I've got them, I've taken a photo of them, all packaged up here, ready to give to a friend of mine, and it made me really happy that my chickens lay eggs, and so I can give them to my friends.
When you become mentally unwell, everybody focuses on what's wrong with you and what medication you can be given, and you know, like the pathology of, you know, your behaviour and all this sort of stuff, but not, you know, you don't usually get an opportunity to spend some time thinking about, well, what brings me joy, what's precious in my life, and what brings me happiness. And yeah, because I mean, if you're not happy in life, what's the point? And this project to me was a really good one. It was like, how do you choose life? How do you actually, you know, choose to actually live? And when you have a mental illness or any kind of disability, it's like life's that little bit harder. And you know, one of the things that's happened for me is I'm not thinking about suicide all the time like I used to. And I feel like even if I have a really bad patch, I know I'm starting to realise that there's things that I do that I really enjoy, and I just actually have to do some more of those, even in the times that are really bad. So I can balance it out more. So it's, somehow it feels like it's just allowing me to have a bad patch, but it's not the end of the world. I've actually, I feel like I've been on hold for 10 years or so, and I thought that really, I couldn't actually see any way out of that. But yeah, I feel like I've come alive again just from doing this project.
We're day 79 of the project, Shelley. How's it going for you?
It's going really well, yeah. I'm enjoying it. I'm finding it much easier when I feel my mind sort of heading down an unhelpful road. I'm much better at stopping my mind and turning it around. And I'm developing an attitude that's much more glass half full than glass half empty. Because it's not just the photos in the project, it's talking with other people and who are all doing the same thing, and we're all focusing on the happy stuff, not the sad stuff. And it's like, you know, we're doing it frequently enough that it's repetitive enough that it's actually starting to sink in. And it's really fascinating to learn more about the other people and what it is that makes them feel happy. And so many of the discussions that start with one person's photo, almost everyone's got something to say about what it ticks in their boxes. And it's wonderful. Well, one of the things I read was that it's not up to other people to fill up my glass, it's up to me. And so, you know, I can be affirming of myself. I can put good things in my cup. And that really sort of, you know, meant something. I thought, yeah, I can. It's not up to other people.
This is my brother, and he's 3.5 years older than me, and he was the last one to come up out of all my family to come up and see me before I got really ill. And yeah, he spent the whole morning in my bedroom with me, and we were just catching up and laughing and yakking. And he tried to fix my computer for me, but he couldn't. And it was just nice to spend the day with him, yakking and catching up and just saying how close we are now compared to how we were when we were kids, because we couldn't be in the same room together without fighting. And so now it's nice to be able to look at this and think where we've been and where we are now. And he rings most nights to check up on Mum and I. So that's my brother. So all my family's been up now, all 6 of them. I'm not well at the moment, so I just thought I would pop in, and because I was here when it started and I wanted to be here when it finished. Because as everybody knows, when I started, we didn't know if I was going to be here at the end, and I've done it.
Yay! Hooray!
And as I keep saying to my specialist, you can't kill a weed, sorry. And so yeah, worms, right. So yeah, no, I really have enjoyed doing the project. I've found it quite hard not being able to be here every week, and that's the thing I've just struggled with the most, is not being able to support Denise in the way that we had planned. But I've tried to keep an eye on the Facebook page, and when I've found something that I've liked, I've put it up, and I haven't. I've read a lot of you guys' comments and had chuckles. So,
yeah, I think you've been very supportive too, just because you were on the page quite often.
Yeah.
You're regularly on that page, and that's supportive in itself. And I've really enjoyed some of the posts you've put up. I've got this little file where the ones my favourites, I save them and put them in my happiness file, and I've got a few of the ones you've put up there.
That's good, Shannon.
Yeah, and like Denise says, the situation that you're in, and the fact that you're still here, hey, well, that's part of being happy. I'm happy you're still here.
Yeah, according to the specialist, I was only supposed to live to June. Now we're...
what do they know?
Yeah. You know, I'm like,
Just say it's true and I'll come back to you. Fill the space I didn't make.
It's been 2 months since the project finished, the happiness project finished. Are you still continuing on with taking the photographs?
No, I'm not taking photographs, but I'm still posting comments on the happiness page and on Facebook itself, yeah.
And how's your health at the moment?
My health has taken a dive. I had an appointment with the doctor on Monday, and she said that I'm in the last stages of the cancer.
How are you feeling about that?
Quite scared, because I'm noticing I can't do as much. I'm very short of breath. I wheeze all the time, and I can't even walk from one side of the room to the other without getting exhausted now.
Are you getting out at all?
Not as much as what I was, but I'm still trying to get out a little bit, yeah.
And I see you've got your horse back.
Yeah, my girlfriend brought her back last weekend, and that was just sort of so I could spend my last few days with her.
And you've got another add into the family, a little dog?
Yeah, we when we moved back out to the farm, Mum said I could have a dog, so I went and got a Shih Tzu cross terrier.
Do you think the project benefited you?
Yes, it did, definitely. I think it helped me focus on something different than the cancer, because I had something to look forward to, something else to look for positive. Otherwise I would have just been, oh, woe is me, I'm dying. And I made me look for positive comments, positive anything, quotes, pictures, so it gave me a different interest, yeah.
Your wishes, would you list them all down? 1, 2, 3. You could take yourself someplace. Where would it be? It's the time in this season for singing and dancing around. So with rhyme and with reason, let's sing with one voice and one sound. We are daisy chains.
It's been 3 months now since the project finished. How are you going?
Oh, I'm actually going really well. I have to say that a couple of weeks ago I was in a really bad space, and in the past I would have spiralled down and it would have been a really nasty place to be. but I've used a lot of the techniques that we've learned in the Happiness Project about how to increase my happiness. That's just the teddy bear being hugged, because there's free hugs here, because hugs increase your happy chemicals. So
I had a meeting with my GP yesterday, and she's decided with me that we won't continue on with antibiotics. Come to this decision because I've done the Happiness Project. 3 months have been really good. I'm glad that I was able to do the project. I've done everything on my bucket list that I wanted to do, and every day now is just a struggle to get out of bed, to breathe, to walk, to do anything.
Of all the comrades that ever I've had, they would want me one more day to stay. And of all the sweethearts that ever I've had, they are sorry for me going away. And all I've done for one tall wit to memory now I can't recall. I'll gently rise and I'll softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you all.
I've just got Meredith's little thing for my funeral at the front of mine. And then for all the pictures that I put in, I've just gone through just to remind myself what it was about each situation that made me feel happy or that I was grateful for. Some of them my photos are sort of artistic, and some of them are practical. But I tried to relate it to my feelings, and then, like, if I felt happy or felt joy, then I'd take a photo. And I didn't really judge whether the photo itself was, you know, a very artistic photo, so it was more to do with how I felt.
I think it was a very unusual but very exciting and inspiring experience. I didn't know what to expect from the outset, but I know that I've learned a lot through the project, and yeah, I've got a slightly different take on life at this point, which is different to when I started. That was the amazing thing about this project. It reminded me, and I think it reminded other people, that we have actually got choices. Mind you, a lot of the people who participated probably never realized they had choices in life, because life never gave them much of a choice. But it reminded me, yes, I can choose what I want to focus on in my day. This is actually me. I think by focusing on these things, both came to a clearer notion of what I value, who I am, and what direction I want to take in life, and was probably very much an outcome of that I decided to retire. I literally thought I should be a psychiatrist, be there for the long haul, but this gave me the courage and the inspiration to say, this is it, I'm out of here, I'm going to do something different.
Just say it's true and I'll come back to you. Fill the space I didn't make. Just say it's true, I'll find a way, and you won't need.
Inside my head is grumpy. It's always, you know, I've got lots of negative thoughts and stuff, and I wanted to try and figure out if I could change them a wee bit. So having the project really did help me with that. It actually made me realise I have a lot more control over my thinking. I mean, not all the time. Sometimes you have really bad days and then you just have to deal with that. But I do have a lot more control over my thinking and my thoughts than what I realised, and I can influence how I experience things and how I react to things in life. I mean, some people it just had a profound effect on, and it certainly titillated me enough to make me want to find out more about why and what it was about that project that actually made a difference to people and made such a difference to people. One of the big changes for me was I'd bought a house up north and I was just using it as a batch, and I'd had it for about 3 years, and years ago when I started thinking about joy and happiness and that and like making life better, I bought that house because I was thinking I want to be by the beach, I want to have a dog, which I didn't at the time, I want to, I want these things in my life, but I didn't know how to get them. But before the project, I still hadn't made the move, and actually it was the project that sort of pushed me into doing that. That's how come I'm up at my home, my beautiful, beautiful home in Coopers Beach now.
I'm conscious that I can put things in my own cup and I can do some of these things for myself. I don't have to wait for somebody else to do it. I can do it myself. And that is a difference. Yeah. Long may it last.
She lies awake most of the night, holding on to her pillow tight. I'm being carried from miles away, more distinct.
I think he should stand to one side a little bit because you've got a towel.
Oh, yeah, dangly thing. She's laughing at you. He's look at that green dangling thing through his legs.
I don't know.